Dude, we all wanted to kill this phone,
It
dude.
fucking gets into your ears, eh? Definitely does.
Are we live, folks?
We live.
Folks, welcome to the Hotbox Show, and tonight we will not be talking Lang Dank. For those of you who have been stuck under your couch or on your couch for a week and haven't seen, this week we lost a homie. We lost a bro, a friend, father, an icon. So I hope you all join us tonight in raising a bong, capping a dab, blazing a chalice, or hitting a fat one for our friend who departed this week, Jules. Folks, anyone we should say hi to on the chat?
Oh my goodness, it's popping off. I looked at this, oh my god, looked at this thing maybe just 10 seconds before the show started. It said 35, we're at 56 now. So thank you everyone who's online. We've got Africana, I'm going to go through this list. Africana, Craig Block, Gerber the Gardener, Chris J, Lou Bell, Justin Werner, Indica CBD and Grow, Alan Angel, Tommy LaRue, Myrtle Mew, Emma Locks, which is also from Red Eye Mike, Tom Kelly, Tommy LaRue. Well, this is just YouTube. I don't know who's on the Facebook. We're not on it.
Text the Facebook.
I'll get it. Don't worry, let me get it.
Right.
So there's a lot of love pouring in.
So,
really.
Guys, the forecast is 420% chance of snot bubbles tonight, guys. But we are going to do our best to be happy, and we really had to dig deep and ask ourselves the question this week.
Do we want Jules to come and haunt us if we don't carry on with his dreams?
Yeah, what would Jules do? And the answer would always be, the show would go on.
It's our new WWJD. What would Jules do?
What would Jules dab? And the answer is everything.
Geez, at all. He wouldn't hold back.
How's the Facebook looking?
I'm still... Wait, there it is. There, it's coming now. It was live. No, not that one.
So guys, there's no real topics tonight. There's no topics. There's no growing with my buds. There's no Instagram. None of that. We're going to be having a few tributes that we're going to play from friends and fam. And one thing I've kept hearing over the last week from a lot of people, they keep telling me about how they met Jules for the first time. Oaks will say, yeah, I know Jules for 10 years. There's people I know who know Jules for 20, 30 years. Yeah. This guy has lived so many full lives. But I thought maybe the question we'd put around the house to you guys in the comments, no poll, none of that shit this week, is if you met Jules, how did you meet him? We're going to be putting that to ourselves this evening because, you know, it's for so many people, it was just such a happy experience that it's stuck. And we all ended up sitting here hanging out with this oak for 140 episode and years before, because this man was glue that held many of us together.
Oh, yeah.
There's not many people that met him that didn't... He wasn't easily forgotten.
Even if he didn't like you.
He certainly made an impact.
He would make sure you remembered him.
We're Tony Budden, we check you Oaks, we check Armand.
Austin Ramsey, David Duplessis, Nikki Peterson, they're on Facebook, Sean Friedrich, Buddy Spray. We're seeing you, we're definitely seeing you.
So guys, I'm not going to dick around. Should we just start at the beginning? I hope your Oaks are getting grilled. Do we want to take a moment of silence while all you Oaks clear a bong,
load your dab rig up,
clear a chalice? Let's take a moment.
I'll do it all.
Let's get it together. Let's just take a little moment of silence for our friend, even though he hated silence.
Yes.
This was not a man who loved silence or sitting still.
We never sat in silence in the studio.
Let's just breathe for a moment and light up for our comrade. I think that's about as much silence as Jules would ever stomach, guys. Guys, thank you for joining us on the chat. Should we just kick it off? Should we start, Joe?
The chat is kicking off like...
Is it?
Oh my gosh.
I see Oak's just giving positive vibes. Eh? Thank you so much. I must say a lot of thank yous to the people who were also around this week, the people who attended the memorial. We streamed that, to the tribe, to the family, to the people that were pre-DC and post-DC. I've just got to say thank you so much because there haven't been many words lately, and I'm not one for many words.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And the words have been very hard to come out.
And what we're also going to be doing is we'll have some hangout guests and that as well. We're also going to be inviting some people who, if they're strong enough, there's no pressure, to also just come and sit and tell us their Jules highlights or just how they met Jules, because, I see a lot of people bleeding around me as well. It's a vacuum. It's big big shoes that, okay?
He was so important to so many people in so many different ways. He was a mentor. He paid attention when people were speaking, and it made you feel you knew he was listening. And if your idea was shit, he'd tell you it was shit.
Yeah. If you got in his way, he would fucking tell you so too, because the man was a bullet, a doer.
He didn't call it a shovel, he called it a fucking spade.
Joe, how did you first meet Jules, eh?
So, it was about 6-7 years ago. I spent the day at the office. I was working in TV production and it was a bit quiet, and I'd spent the entire day watching every single video they'd ever put together so far.
Okay.
And I saw one of the videos they'd said that people had been sending them hate mail. So I sent them a really long letter, because I used to love writing, saying, I can't believe how people could send you hate mail. That's absolutely disgusting. And I love you. I think your work is amazing. And if there's anything I could ever do to help, it's the same kind of letter we get all the time. And Myrtle replied and said, well, if you could just come and fetch some petitions, if you could fill in sign data capture petitions. And I came, it was the same day, I think, and I stood out in the driveway, and Myrtle came outside, and I was like, oh, I'm starstruck.
Yeah.
And then she invited me to the kitchen, and I was like, oh my God, I'm being invited into the kitchen of the Dagga Couple. That Dagga Couple. I was like, fuck. And then Jules came through, and I was just like, oh, they're like normal people. And this beautiful home that's so colourful, and there's so much life and soul and all the art. And it's not, you don't come into a house, you come into a home here.
No.
And then I just kept in the way. That was it. Until eventually I had a desk.
It's a good way to do it, eh?
And that was 2012. I started working with Fields of Green.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, they've saved my life. Basically, I was in a bad place, but I'm sure you remember, a dark place. And it was knowing that I had the support of the farm family and Myrtle and Jules that really gave me the strength to do what I needed to do to get out of that dark place as well and find myself in this amazing place now.
The snore machine has arrived.
Hello, Finn.
And Dan, how did you first meet Jules? Because I forget, dude. It's been so many years of people in and out and faces and all that. But you've also been around for a while, eh?
I think, I actually don't even remember, to tell you the truth, when it was when I met him exactly, because I think when I did come here, it was just so welcoming that it just felt like I'd known him almost, like I'd known this person. He wasn't as hard to get to know, or he was just, like you say, he was straight to the point. He was very welcoming and made contact with me, and we just clicked, and it was just one of those.
He made you feel so safe.
It was just like I'd been there, and it was like, no problem, matey, no problem.
Yeah.
Matey, matey. Fucking matey, man. It was, I can't remember, and I don't really need to remember the exact day it was, because it doesn't matter. I knew him in my life, and I'm glad to have met the man. He's almost, second father figure to me, really. That's how much of an influence that guy had.
There's this weird
in
thing.
the thinking and shit we did. It was unreal.
So, before I tell you how I met Jules, I'll tell you this much. I've gone a ways back with him, and I know there's people who've gone way further back. So, I stake no claim to longest anything here and that. But what's something I did notice, and maybe with myself an extent, that Jules was a very reluctant father figure somehow to a lot of young men. Hey, and he never asked for it, he never wanted it, he was like, no. But somehow there was something about him, like moss to a flame, little lost boys. And he made a big difference. And he didn't always know it and he didn't always want to. But I think he made a big difference on a lot of people.
He made a very big difference. And they didn't I've been saying that the last couple of days, they never wanted children, yet they gave birth to this amazing community. And in that community are two young men, in fact, are sitting in the studio who, if they'd ever given birth to children, these are the two people that would have been their boys. They love them like they came from their own bodies. And we're going to be chatting to them later. They're a little tearful right now. Sorry, guys.
Yo, we did a snot bubble break, guys. Got to add. We're going to be taking a look at a couple of tributes shortly. You guys need a minute to get them lined up, hey? So you guys let me know when you got the tributes lined up.
Should we do what he loved to do best and show you what we're smoking? Like a little bit of a
dank
cam, that thing.
Let's
Let's have a look at the dank cam and see what we got here.
Yeah. So what do I do? I just bring this thing.
Just disconnect some cables and pull it this way and let's have a look. Yeah, jeez.
Incoming. Jules was a lot better at this.
I think you would have liked the way we set out his garden yesterday. We all kind of looked at each other and went, but this is Jules's department. Decorating has always been Jules's department.
Yes, sir.
So Jules, I hope we've done it all right. We weren't sure.
We got some stories here. Or some how I met Jules. And that's what we would like for you guys to do, is just write your how you met Jules. Give us a nice breakdown. It will be great to see them in the chat. So we've got one here, Chantal Dupree. She says, I remember meeting Jules with a very welcome cup of Pedro tea at the Jazzfarm. Warm and comforting energy and truly magical home with Myrtle. It left a lasting impression and forever will. Armand Prinsloo. I met him through a meal. Met him in his yard. He was shadowing a glassblower up to Joburg. My girlfriend was up to visit me. We decided to make a trek to Lanseria. It just takes you, eh?
So many people would have met him through the plant ceremonies, the sweat lodges that we have been held.
There's many ways they would have met him, eh?
You know, they weren't just Dagga people, they're plant people in general. And we've had a lot of healing ceremonies and things that have happened here on this farm.
Yeah, the farm's seen some interesting times, guys. Because also, you know, it was so weird for a lot of people to see over the last week that, you know, it's always been so Dagga Couple, that you lose touch with the fact that there were Jules and Myrtle, these people.
Yeah.
And they existed a long time before this Dagga Couple thing as well.
They've had a lot of their family from, family as in soul family from Rustlers days. They were very, very involved in Rustlers back in the day. I think Myrtle ran the kitchen, didn't she?
They've got some serious... They've made their mark in Rustlers. They were Rustlers. They were part of the Rustlers.
Yeah, there was a tribute video made to Fricky in 2003, was it? We saw it the other day. Mm-hmm. And there's an 11 minutes and 25 seconds Jules' interview. It comes on and you can see he was a lot younger, but you just that life that was always in his eyes and that quirky smile.
Just push the camera a bit closer, I'll show you the shot.
And his philosophies are just the best.
There we go. It's a bit of a fisheye lens tonight.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Stop it. There we go.
Yo, there we go. Okay, Oaks.
Just gotta bring it close, unfortunately.
That's alright, we'll work with what we got for now, hey? Looking down the barrel of a bong, yeah, hey? Yo, have we not killed this kif yet, eh, Dad?
Not yet. What have we got there?
That's the doggo.
Is that the dog?
Yeah.
Okay, we got some dog. Who's this by? What is it?
It's just an outdoor.
Some outdoor.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to get a lot better at this.
What happened to the camera?
The app.
Oh, the app changed.
The sensor.
Okay, well we got that. And we got some of this keef that just keeps on not ending.
Keeps on giving.
Keeps on keefing.
Keeps on keeping.
And I don't know, was this the same dab we did last week?
Definitely keef.
Yo.
Is that not the one he said was going to be the winner of the Amber Cup?
I think it was one of these. And you can see my hands
That's
are
the
also as
Jack.
filthy as can be. Been hands on deck all week. So
Jack Hera,
you can't have these. You can't do this
Oh,
this
that
kind of
is the
stuff with clean hands. You got to. This camera always has to have a pair of working hands showing you what you got.
Yes.
So there's a bit of that. What else we got? Where's that big diamond thing? I've seen. Sure, you guys have seen this thing. This is our.
Oh, and then that's the sauce thing
Yeah.
next to the.
There's the tips. And
That's
the other one.
the actual THCA.
I think the problem we've had is we
Separation.
have smoked everything in front of us this last week, hey guys.
Yeah. And then here's the terp sauce that comes off of that. So they separated these two from each other, and got dank and dank to make super dank. If they had a baby, they would be like dank dank.
Dank and dank.
Dank, 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 dank. So
Yeah.
thanks for that live up there, Danky K.
Yes.
Uh,
Danky K.
But I promise next week, folks, we'll put on our best foot forward with all this stuff and that, eh? But for now, guys, we're going to be hanging out and just like, I think, trying our best to remember the good times a little bit. So I'll tell you how, yeah?
Just a quick one before I light this because I want to light it. But this, I don't know if you ever watched the last show. Jules mentioned that a good friend of his, Austin, was coming to visit him to drop off some bud, and whatever happened,
Oh, yes.
Austin couldn't make it the evening. Austin came yesterday and dropped off this joint and a few others with the crew of that bud that he wanted to give Jules. So just wanted to say, Austin, we're smoking this joint, you know, here it is here, my man. We'll puff it in honor for Jules.
Charlie's.
Everyone, it'll go right
Charlie's.
round.
Right.
Away.
Yeah, it's bleak days. I'm not going to lie. I don't know. So we're not making any promises about how long tonight's show is going to be. Some folks are saying 15 minutes. I know Jules would want two hours, maybe 20 hours if you really could. But we'll see how it goes. You know, we're going to give it our best. And it's also up to you guys how much you participate at home and that. But once again, thank you to all the people in the chat. We really are feeling your vibes. It's kind of like a hippie spirit bomb in here.
Yeah, we do definitely want to take the time to share the tributes that people have taken that made the effort to make as well. I think it's very important.
Yeah, Stanley Ukumaleni. First time I met Jules was at D-Day 2019. Second time was digitally when I came on to the Hotbox show in November last year. It was amazing to find out that we shared a birthday November 7th.
Yes.
Yeah. Yo, D-Days. We've had gang D-Days, I would say.
Oh man. Hey, those
But-
days when we saw him running around, that oak never stopped. That's one
It's
thing that you guys must
impossible.
always know about Jules is he never stopped.
Couldn't get him to sit down.
The only
ever.
time he sat down was there. That was the longest I've ever seen that man ever sit down in my life. He would
Actually,
never,
yes.
ever
Yes.
sit down for 2 hours. Not a chance.
Not a chance.
And you could see him when he was sitting there. He was always, you know, a little bit ready. You know,
Ready.
let's do something. Quick.
Yeah.
So-
You guys should have seen him before the show. The oak was always a mile a minute. If there was anything that could be done better or more, he would always do it.
2 minutes
Oh,
before
yeah.
the show would be
Oh,
starting,
yes.
and it'd still need to run to the other end of the property to
No,
just
not a
quickly-
problem. I'll be back.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
You'd think that he's like Superman. You know, go to a booth and like back and back. Leave the door and be back in 2 minutes. Like, damn, that was quick.
Yeah, that oak did more mileage than
I
10
was
highlights.
convinced he was going to outlive all of us the way he's healthy as fuck.
Yep.
Still
Yeah.
running around like Zog.
Yeah. Crazy mofo, hey? Because I tell you, oaks, you just wouldn't believe it. I know it's a humble studio we've got here and all that, but it's lekker and it feels like a pot of home for all us Peter Pan boys and that. But once upon a time, this was just a dingy little chicken coop.
Is this a chicken coop?
This was just a dingy, small
For
little
Deckham.
chicken coop.
I remember when you guys started building it, and I remember it was
Yeah.
dirty. I remember it. It was.
And we all put a little bit of ourselves into it. The Oaks behind you were involved. Dan was involved. I was involved. But once again, hey, Jules was the propeller that made it all work. Hey.
Yes.
What have we got
It certainly was.
Ranger Jakes, what glass pipe bong did Jules show us the last episode?
That was the praxis.
That was the practice piece
I
that was blown
think-
for us, well, for the hot box by Praxis. It's actually up at the top. We were
up at the main
there. We
It's
were
with
we were
Myrtle
we
at
were
the
smoking
moment,
it yesterday
yeah.
and stuff. So
It's with Myrtle.
But
at the
also,
moment.
a lot of love to Praxis. We also heard out from them and that. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for your message.
And for, I don't know if they really do, I think they're artists, so don't go waste their time and say you want X, Y, and Z. What you do is you go knock on their door, you say, please may I have some of your glass? You shut up, you pay the fucking money, and you be glad you get what you get. Because these oaks make beautiful glass, and it's local.
Yes.
we're ready there.
Yes.
So, Oaks, we're just lining up a bit of a tribute here. A lot of people have been making a lot of content as well. I think a lot of people have also just been expressing themselves and creating, and just it's been a part of the process for a lot of guys in that. We did the stream as well. When? Yesterday.
Yesterday. Guys, for those of you who came through, thank you so much. For those of you who sent messages to say that they couldn't come through, thank you so much. Myrtle is getting all of your messages. Slowly but surely in bite-sized pieces.
I see.
She's very grateful for all of the love. She can feel the love, and she's very, very grateful for it.
I see guys are saying, yeah, it must be called Jules Day. I think you're halfway there. Post Sea World Apocalypse, if events still go on, maybe it should be called J Day.
J
Day.
Hey, that feels right.
That feels right.
And I see also someone saying how many cultivars are going to be named after Jules. Firstly, ding, 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 10 points for Gryffindor for saying cultivar.
Hey!
Dan would like that, gold
I
stars.
was like, yeah, good work.
But yeah, I imagine, hashtag Hotbox Show, we're not doing it this week, but hashtag Hotbox Show, post your pics on Instagram, and usually at the end of each show we scroll through them. But if you guys do some Jules tributes, we'd love to see them next summer. And I promise you, if you really wanted to do the man of honor, grow some unpractically big fucking sativa.
I saw somebody did graffiti. I saw one of our beautiful techies posted, somebody did a beautiful graffiti for Jules. Thank you, whoever that was.
Good.
I don't know who that was.
Alright,
So guys, we're just going to go to a tribute.
enjoy.
Get grilled.
Can
They hear us.
In South Africa, to Jules the friend, to Jules the mentor, and to Jules the leader and pioneer of the cannabis fraternity in South Africa, we are saddened by your untimely passing. Jules, a man who was in living the epitome of passionately pursuing the freedom of the cannabis plant. His works and teachings will formulate the framework of what it means to fight for the people and live selflessly among the common man, even as the cannabis legend that he was. The Seven Leaf sends its condolences to Myrtle, family, and the cannabis community. Jules, we lost you untimely, but your footprint in our lives will always be timeless. To Jules the friend, to Jules the man.
Yo, let's get out the twin pie, motherfuckers. Yo, Oaks.
That was our last episode.
Shout out to Seven Leaf, hey. Big shout out to Seven Leaves. They've done a couple of fucking shows here with Jules. The lacquer guys, they've had articles with him in and he's written for them. Go check out the Seven Leaf Facebook links. You Oaks know where. Can I get some fucking Labrador twin ply to cry on, please?
This verse is a tribute to Jules Stobbs. Rest in peace, my brother. We lost a friend, a legend and an activist, a passionate life that ended with a tragic twist. I reminisce on all the dab hits and acid trips. I wrapped a massive split, man. I wish that you could have the hits. It's like an effigy, we'll burn it in your memory while the whole team's busy working on your legacy. You never had kids, that's not exactly true. You see, you'll always be the father of the cannabis community. This verse is a tribute to Jules.
Power, Oaks.
Oh my gosh.
Power. Are we just going to go for it and do all of them?
There's one long one still. I don't know if you guys want to maybe intro it.
So the
No,
next
Joe
one,
knows.
Nick Heidemann, my brain, I'm sorry Nick. AfriStar have put this together. It was an interview I got through most of it this afternoon with Gareth Prince and an interview that they did with Jules at the clinical cannabis conference.
Yeah.
So prepare yourselves.
Wow.
Prepare yourselves for this beautiful man.
Whenever you're ready. Quick time. Okay. Because that's the original download. Just go
Okay, we might have a problem with the audio on that.
Technical difficulties.
But that's
Stand
fine.
by.
That's part of the. That's part of the.
It wouldn't be the hot box if it didn't. Folks.
Yeah, come on,
promise
we
you,
are
Oaks,
live after all.
If we had to turn this camera around, it's so ghetto in here. Eh? It runs purely on the spirits of us all. Eh?
Yeah, totally.
Oh,
Sure.
God.
Dudes,
You know-
these are just beautiful tributes, and I'm actually looking through the window outside at the people who put them together. And thank you guys.
Thank you very much for that. That was.
Does anyone want to tap in on the couch and tell us how they met
Anybody
Jules?
want to jump in?
Anyone
Well,
brave enough? No expectations,
Not yet.
guys.
Just now.
It's heavy shit.
You're
You
more than
ready?
welcome. Yeah,
Come
come
tell
on
us
in.
your
Come on in.
story.
Sit next to us in the
Come
middle.
check Loki MacGyver over here, Oaks. I cannot. You guys are not going to recognize this guy with his new look.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
You got.
We
You
got
got audio.
audio on
Yeah,
that.
we got it.
Cool.
It's
That's
on.
why we'll come afterwards. No, come on,
Let's
come
do
on, come on,
after.
come on, come on, come on. Sit down, sit down.
Let's have a laugh in between. I think we all have to take chunking breaks.
This is it. This is it.
So, guys, for those of you who don't know, this is Connor. He's part of Joint Cannabis Consultants and Medicated Photography. Also, goes back. I've watched these lighties grow themselves personally a lot over the last couple of years. Always also been practically family of the Jazzfarm now, hey?
Family.
Yeah,
This
hey?
is the family I was talking about. This is one of their children.
So, Connor, how did you first meet Jules, dude? D-Day, something like that?
Yeah, a very long and complicated story, but you were talking about the lost little boys that, end up
Yeah.
here. And I was one of those, completely lost and obsessed with weed and didn't know what the hell to do, and out of school. And, I, like you, I sent him an email. I watched the TED Talk and I sent him an email and I said, I need a help. I'm stuck in Cape Town and nobody gets me. And I need a help. And they send me, they were doing the sports thing at the time. They were endorsing athletes.
Oh, Henry with
Henry,
the
yeah.
comrades.
Oh yes, I remember that.
So-
I must tell you
Yes.
the story,
Yeah.
guys. Yo.
So they sent me a cycling jersey and they said, do the Argus for us.
Mm,
So it's powered by Dagga.
I
How would
remember
you do
that.
Yeah.
It was like 4.
Man,
Yeah,
gee.
5 years ago.
years
So I trained and my dad helped me and we did this little documentary and I trained so hard for that and I was so amped to do it and I was ready to smoke a fat spliff at the starting line and go for it, and that was the year that the August was cancelled.
Oh no.
So it's just this massive
Yeah.
thing, and then I was super depro about it, and then I got woken up one morning with a phone call 5 o'clock in the morning from Jules, and he said, matey, I've put money in your account, get on the next flight to Joburg, we need you for D-Day. And that was the last D-Day at Carfax. And yeah, later that night he sat next to me in that VIP lounge at the top.
the top,
Yeah, I remember
Yes.
that.
Just, when that moment in the beginning when suddenly you're alone and he finds you and he just sits next to you and he put his arm around me and he said, so what do you think?
He makes you feel so warm
Yeah.
and so safe and so welcome straight away.
So I just said, this is the coolest thing I've ever been a part of in my entire life. And
Oh,
he just
yeah.
looked at me, he said, welcome to the family. And I've been up every year since for everything.
Yeah. And when
Yeah.
we come down there, we hook up straight away as well. It's like a magnet. It's-
But
That was
Jules,
also, it was definitely
Yeah.
also part of the reason how I just wanted to be part of it as well. You see what they're doing, you say, look, I need to have some sort of direction.
Yeah.
Help me. I need some sort of direction. I can see that you guys are you are doing this in the way that I want to go, but I don't know how to even think of going that direction. And I just came and immersed myself in it like you did, and just like took you in more than you would thought it would have to. More than you thought.
Because it was such a strange thing. First, a couple of shout outs. Aware PM, Kaiko.
Yes.
We check you there, brother. Hope you're well. It was such a weird thing because there's all these lighties that become passionate about something, and I think we're all these lighties that became passionate about weed. Probably because it was a little bit naughty and we were all rebels without a cause. And maybe we didn't like the Jack Daniels so much and preferred a bit of a Scafus and that. But also we were lost. You know, there were forums and all that shit. But our existence was this. It wasn't changing. It was this dimension of what it was. And suddenly, in this ice, there was this fucking ship breaking away, Jules and Myrtle. And everyone just pulled in behind, and we just said we gotta break this fucking ice. And it was nice because then people started finding direction. Because Jules, Myrtle, we've never had the answers, but what we've said is let's all talk together. And with this dialogue, not only we will find the answers, we will find the real fucking questions that we haven't even thought about yet.
Yes.
You know.
And you made a really funny point earlier. You know how Jules, he didn't want anything to do with that idea of being a father, right? And same with Myrtle, and she's always called me brother, and I've got it saved on my phone as Mama Myrtle. You know, because I came in as a 19-year-old kid. You know, I lived in Amsterdam and got here and joined straight away. So it's like they were parents to me straight up. They are. They have shaped me into the human I am now, and it'll. It'll be remembered.
I think the dude's gonna live on in his way through a lot of people. You know, he had a lot of direct and indirect impact on people's lives. Because for all you oaks who don't know, this dude worked on the OG Fear Factors and the first Big Brother and
they
gang
worked on
commercials.
Hotel Rwanda.
Yes, which
They
was shot in Joburg. Just so y'all know.
So, but this guy had an impact directly and indirectly on so many lives. Oh.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna lie, Oaks. I got min words. Min words at the moment. You guys want to hit that tribute?
We can.
Let's check what some other folks had to say. Hey. So we don't have to go for hours, guys.
If it wasn't for
You guys,
Dagga or
anyone,
Cannabis,
as long as anyone's
in all
got papers.
probability, I would never have met Jules and Myrtle, who more affectionately became known as the Dagga Couple in South Africa. I remember it was early in 2013, after we both had been arrested and charged with dealing in cannabis, that they came down to Cape Town and we met in the Parliamentary Gardens in Cape Town to discuss the ways of challenging these unjust and immoral laws. They ended up going to the Gauteng High Court, and I approached the Cape Town High Court in order to challenge these laws. Just as I am very passionate and insistent about my right to use cannabis as a Rastafari and as an indigenous person, Jules would be the first person to tell you, my body, therefore my right to use cannabis. And the South African Constitution, remarkably, compels us to tolerate and respect both these opinions. Jules Stobbs was not afraid to speak his truth, and at times this rubbed some people up the wrong way. But what I will always remember was the fearlessness of his approach and his willingness to speak his truth, whether he was standing in front of the United Nations, the High Court, or a rural community. In a time where masks are commonplace, Jules was open-faced about the potential of cannabis to redress the socio-economic ills that affect most South Africans. He knew that cannabis provides a realistic chance of hope, jobs, and economic regeneration for all. How ironic that the desperation and the hopelessness that feeds the violence that ultimately took his life is the very thing that Jules knew cannabis could remedy. The best way for us to honor the legacy and the memory of Jules is for us as a society to create just and inclusive African cannabis laws that would give us an immediate post-COVID-19 economic and social restoration solution. We earnestly call upon our government, our executive, and our president to seize the initiative that cannabis offers us now in order to create a participatory cannabis industry that would provide food, clothes, shelter, fiber, and medicine for all of the people in South Africa. And in the words of Jules and Myrtle, fields of green for all.
Well, the whole point of this convention was, if we had spent all of this time and effort getting all of these people to the trial, let's open it up to the public. Let's share all of this knowledge with the people. And we initially thought that we'd do it in some little place somewhere and it would be on an ad hoc basis, but we've had years to think of this. And then we realized today is actually the day the cops rocked up at my house and arrested me in the first place. It's literally 7 years today. And that's why we did it on this day and not the next day or any other day. So this is our birthday. And we stood on stage today, in 7 years today, I had an SAPS gun in my cheek for 5 hours, semi-naked in my kitchen. And now I'm in front of 600 doctors, so we made it so far. And we just keep going and going and going. And we've already got out of it what we wanted out of it, and that is for the whole network to start talking together. There's a lot of head shaking in there. There's a lot of very conservative doctors going, oh, I don't know about that information. I can't process. That's contrary to everything I've been told as a doctor. Well, that's why they're here, because they've been told a pack of lies about the cannabis plant. And you saw Tony Budden talk about a multitude of other uses. You talk about me, I use it for specifically really one use. And I have done, I unashamedly use it for one use. I enjoy its narcotic effects. And it is my right to use it as a narcotic. And I'm trying to prove it in a court of law. If I'd gone in there with a terminal disease, it might well have been over by now. So somebody would have given me cancer because somehow somebody with a terminal disease has more human rights than me. So I'm fighting for my rights as a psychonaut. I enjoy this stuff and I enjoy getting high. So what I see in there when Donald Abrahams was speaking before lunch was a bunch of people on their phones. And then after 10 minutes it was, and then they put their phones out. After 20 minutes they're all, because he's just spoken the truth. He's the only man in the world that's done human trials in recent history on cannabis users. So we thought we'd just throw him into the mix to change the paradigm of what people think about Dagga in this country. So with a hemp plantation, you could take it in the middle of Northern Cape and grow a field of green for 40 kilometres in any direction. And you could have a methanol plant there, way away from people. You don't need many people to make a methanol plant. And I would like one day to be able to fill my bakkie with something I grew in the ground. That's what I would like to do with the industrial aspects of it. But of course, South Africa goes, we need jobs. So I think that industry would create many, many jobs. The hemp industry, probably. Clothes, I don't know, they're quite bad fitting. The t-shirts right up at the back, they're all very boring colours, and the socks itch. So I'm not really into that aspect of it. And health, skin products. It's not my bag, but it'll be somebody's bag one day, and quite rightly so. So to me, it's a no-brainer that because hemp looks like weed, it's banned. It is quite a fearful thing taken on the state, and when you get into that high court, it's very austere, it's very masculine and macho, and it's oppressive wood paneling and austere seats and all these protocols. In fact, for the first 3 days of the trial, all I saw were these people in weird clothes. Actually, it was the most polite way of saying fuck off to someone I'd ever seen. I presume that fuck off, sir, I do declare, fuck off. And that's what they were doing for 3 days. It was bizarre. Anyway, it was at our expense, because we had a plan to put people on the stand and do our thing, and all they wanted to do was stop us in our tracks. And with some clever folk in the background and quite a lot of tenacity and no sleep, the show went on, and we live streamed it, and that is a complete coup. So the advocate years ago, that advocate's in the building now. Absolutely amazing. 7 years later, that advocate is here today to see our successes. He said you will need to get a huge, huge social campaign going to get people on your side. And you're going to have to form a non-profit company to legitimise yourself, because at the moment you're just two weed smokers. So that's what we did. Cut to a couple of years later, we pick up an advocate who says, I'm dying of cancer, but cannabis is keeping me alive. If you can keep me alive with cancer, I'll do anything you want. And he says, you got to understand here that nobody's in the dock in the High Court. We're the plaintiffs. The defendants, the state, are trying to stop us from changing the laws. So it's actually the trial that's on plant. He coined the phrase, the trial of the plant, because it is the plant that is on trial. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it healthy? Is it not healthy? Is it psycho? Is it not psycho? So that man died, and it saddened us, and Myrtle had a tear in her eye when she said it today in her speech. I knew she would. So he was the man that coined the phrase, the trial of the plant. And the reason that we put it together as a full-on trial with people from all over the world was, we're only going to do this once. This is it. This is the definitive argument for every government in the world as to how prohibition is a screaming failure. So I don't know how I ended up doing it, because somebody should have done it 50 years ago. Somebody should have thought, wait a minute, it's my human right to put in my body whatever I want. But they haven't. I don't know why it ended up being me. I always find it really weird that it was me that did it. And now we are in the High Court. We set a precedent in law in 2012. The judge in the Pretoria High Court said, you know what, you've got a point. It may well be your constitutional right to put in your body whatever you want. Well, pertaining to cannabis.
Thank you so much to the AfriStar, is it the foundation? My words are still a bit
All the links
distant,
and stuff
but
are there and there.
Thank you so much. That was such a beautiful... we all had a smile and we all had a tear.
Yeah, definitely. Then when you
if
look
you
at
ever
when
wondered why we love Jules, and it's you can
There you
see
go.
it
You
in
can see it in his
there.
eyes. You can see it in his eyes. I swear
He
to God. When he
spoke from
looks
his
at you,
heart.
you can see it in his eyes. In that clip there.
Wow.
So guys, let's not cut ourselves any more emotionally, because this dude also liked a good fucking laugh and a cold beer.
He did.
Always.
He did. And let's have a dab.
So
Yeah,
Dan
no,
was
drink,
talking about
please.
one of the
Yeah.
shots we saw there in that insert was our trip to Lesotho. Now that is a good memory, Dan. That is a power memory, eh, dude. So who all was,
man.
so how long ago? Like 2 years ago?
It was one of our first episodes, wasn't it? One of our earlier episodes that we went.
One of our
It was
early
the beginning.
episodes.
It was towards the beginning. I don't even remember when it was, but we decided that we wanted to go to Lesotho and we were going to follow.
There was a constitutional case
Yes.
there with Ras
Motseki.
Motseki.
Yes.
Yes, a shout out to Motseki.
Yes, brother.
Aware, right? So we went there to Lesotho side because they were apparently going to have a ruling in the court, but then fuck all happened, and we had 3 days to blow in Lesotho.
So what did we do? We went and looked for fields of green.
Of course.
We went and looked.
And we looked. And we found them. It wasn't that hard.
Okay. Hey, that's not a
Yeah,
bad
it
one.
was awesome. We got taken to some really deep fields where you would trek through here. I remember even we had to stop after the river and wait for the guy to come.
Yeah.
And the guy came, and didn't you jump in the car? And the guy was playing like...
You need to hear this from Buzz's
Yes,
POV
yes.
mofos. So then we skid Lesotho side. First things first though, that Thursday evening, with the help of the dudes back here and that, we
Yes.
managed to shoot an episode of the Hot Box perfectly, probably the first perfect episode ever, on this hill with the sunset, overlooking the capital of Lesotho with all these rastas. Guys, if you got time after the show,
Go back
go
and check it.
it out.
Yeah,
man.
it
That
is.
was
It was
a magical
in the
thing.
teens of the episodes.
Yeah, literally
was
right
early.
at the beginning.
Early teens.
That was
of the
awesome. Up on the
episodes.
mountain, I remember that one. That was great.
But we had a low-key Straight Hunters Lesotho special. So then the next day,
This shot.
Yes.
Peter Tosh could have been there, mofos. So the next day we call off and we're like, yeah, we're gonna go find this ganja field. This oak's gonna show us where. So we drive and we drive and we drive and it gets less and it gets less Because Lesotho is truly, how you see it, a poor country.
Yeah.
And eventually the tar stops and it becomes dirt, and we drive and we drive and we drive and we drive, and then we have to wait. And yeah, we are sitting in the middle of this picturesque thing. There's this stream, guys. We're smoking joints and eating polony rolls.
during the fucking polony thing.
Do you remember that? There's nothing else to eat, so we risked it. and there's these two horses grazing. It's beautiful as fuck. And then slowly in the distance you hear, oops, 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 oops. And it comes closer and it's this fucking dub reggae. And there's the chief of the village, the chief of this massive area rocks up. And he says, how's it? But now it's like they need a white boy to come with them to show off to all the lighties. So they decide on me because they can say, Djembe, Djembe. And they all look and they point. But Joey cruising, this oak's got his 215s pumping, dude. You can hear us 5 valleys down with the dubstep. And here I am sitting. And it was such... And we eventually get there, we get to the ganja field, and it's ganja for days. But I will say this, it was Hermes for days too.
Oh my gosh, yeah. We were all looking at just males and males, and it was just but fields of it, but yeah.
Yeah, but also it's a reality check for us as well, because we're so used to our 150 grams and all that kind of shit, that this is how most of the weed in SA is grown. It's grown, it's chopped, it's dried in the sun, and it's sold for, it was 1,000 rand for 20 liters.
Wasn't that it up there?
I think that's some of it up there.
So we managed to make a mission to get some...
Just don't open it.
No.
Don't.
Yeah. You might spread something.
I think this is it, eh?
If you shake it, it probably goes with the pips.
Because there was a bigger jar,
Yes.
but that's just been decanted. I don't remember why.
So yeah, this was the Lesotho weed that we got, and we got a big bag of it for nothing.
And do you know what it is, guys? We all got to have an amazing adventure because Jules decided he wanted to point and go in a direction.
Yeah.
But also he meant
They
what he
make
said.
movies.
Yeah. But also tell the story of the real people. Go see, because also, you know, like I say, we're about the 150 grams. 99% of the story is about a rand a gram. And he was always genuine about that.
And he was about the randogram people.
Yeah.
They must feel safe to be able to trade in their randogram
Food for.
industry.
And to exist, and to even, how dare we think so far as to think maybe even be protected by the police
yes.
should someone try and steal their fucking rand a gram.
Of course.
Exactly.
They should.
Here we've got just came up. See here, Ricky Stone.
Oh, nice.
Ricky.
Ricky Stone. I wrote to Jules in 2010 saying I was a lawyer and wanted to help the cause. We beat the Dagga Ops crop spraying and live streamed the trial of the plant. In the end, it was Jules who helped me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I want to go through. There's so many here, guys. It's like really
Didn't
flying.
they manage
flying,
to slap
flying.
Dagga Couple sticker onto one of the
They did it.
helicopters?
I love Dagga,
Yeah.
I love Dagga as
I
well.
think they did.
Jules wasn't one to say no to a person, hey, not Sommer.
I remember the year we did the 702 walk for a cause, where we walked for Dagga.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that walk. It was the worst
That
walk
was
ever.
that was when
Sorry,
Jules
honestly, like
realised-
702's walk wasn't the greatest thing, but we had fun.
We had fun.
We had so much fun
and
walking
that's when
and
Jules
doing-
realised that Gert's wheelchair was a mission.
Yes.
And then he made it his absolute mission to find Gert an electric wheelchair, and he pumped it up, and he put this like license plate personalised thing on, and all the stickers, and made a little movie about delivering it.
I watched old Gert in the wheelchair. He's a lekker dude.
He's
He's also
amazing.
known us for a long time.
Yeah.
I watched him this yesterday.
Yes.
It was a sad day, but people were also very happy to see each other. So he pulls up here in the motorized wheelchair, but this haunt that's here, he doesn't like things that move like that. So he's all like, ah, rah, rah. But Gert, you know what? He wasn't a puss and oh, fuck you, haunt. He was like, you want to play? Let's jam. And he fucking went out there and he jammed with the haunt and those villa, both having a good time. Gert, it was good to see you, dude. Heavy days. Heavy days. Are we going to have anyone tap in on the couch?
Is
Anyone else?
Russ going to tap in?
Yeah. How's Russ? Russ, we've got a good friend of Julian's. Russ.
This man's mourning, I've felt it deep in my soul.
Oaks, I'll say we must smoke these skunky fucking buds in that jar.
No, man.
Yo, Oaks, I want to see
What
you
if
all
we
next
gather
week.
the seeds and grow that properly?
I wear yellow.
Yellow, hi, my love. Can you hear us?
We're just dialing things in.
Hold on,
here,
we're just
Oaks.
dialing it in 1 second. Hold on.
High frequency, you know. Remix. Oh, Oaks. Yeah, but
Russ?
honestly, I'm glad you Oaks all had that in use to do the show, because I know I was making jokes earlier and all that, but it really was a what would Jules do moment. And genuinely, come thick or thin, the show always went on with that, okay?
Well, the thing is that we're going to grieve, guys, and we can grieve because we're all sad, but then the anger's going to kick in, and can we all please channel that anger into something productive for Jules?
Yeah.
We are going to be putting together a fundraiser. My mission is to protect Myrtle at all costs. So Jaya Villeman has said that when we set up our fundraiser, he will match up to €10,000. Any donations that come in.
Big ups to Joe.
Thank you, Jaya.
Shout out, Jaya. Thank you very
and with
much,
that,
dude.
we are going to protect Myrtle first, and then set up, I'm sure, like a foundation in Jules's name, or we get community outreach programs. We're gonna do things that Jules would approve of.
That's it.
To make people's lives better.
We're going to make Mo Fire.
But the first thing we need to do is protect Jules's dream here in his home. He was building a dream. Jaya understands that dream, he feels that, and we must protect that at all costs.
And also,
so security first.
Guys, there's a lot that we have been doing at the moment, and that the team behind the scenes that you never really see have been doing amazingly behind the scenes, like the petition. Go sign the petition. Cannabis Can Help SA. Last month there was this massive effort by the team just to say, guys, be aware of this, be aware of that. There was so much content, but the real drive was just to sign the petition, guys. You know, a little goes a long way, just to say, you know, we vote, make it fields of green for all.
We sang and danced literally to try and get you guys to sign the fucking petition. Sign the fucking petition. Just
Simply
like that.
said. Just like that. Sign it, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
As Jules would say, shit, or get off the potter, matey. Mate. How are we doing on Russ Yellow?
Can we test? Russ, you there?
Can you hear us, Russ?
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Affirmative.
That's good, man. Can you see me?
Yes.
Affirmative.
Okay. I can't see you guys. So yeah, I'm just gonna talk.
Go for it.
It's not easy. I don't want to cry all the time that I've been given to talk.
You do you, Russ.
Let me just smoke a bong.
Yes.
Before.
Yes.
Let me smoke a bong for Jules. This is Red Man Jules. Jules hated this bong because it used to be dirty, but he loved it when it was clean. I've tried to keep this bong clean since the day he cleaned it. It's been smoking much better. And that's why Jules loves glass. Glass does smoke better when it's clean. So, I will always keep my glass clean. And I'll light this bong to Jules. So whoever's smoking there, light it up, man. More fire.
More fire.
The spirit.
More fire.
The giant in the stars.
Yo, it's getting hot in here, motherfuckers. That shit you don't use. What's that?
Yeah, I just want to I'm going to cry because the last few days has been hectic for everyone. So I just want to send all my love and strength to everyone in the studio, to Joe, to Dan, to Buzz, to Nelio, to Rian, to everyone there from the farm. They've shown love and support. My heart is there, my spirit is there, and thank you guys for being there for everyone, for Myrtle. And just in this time, which is such a sad time, I was asked to come onto the show just to like talk quickly about how I met Jules for the first time. Like everyone else, Jules was a father to me. Jules was the spirit of fire and inspiration. When I was studying law and moved to the Eastern Cape in 2010, when Jules and Myrtle got caught and applied for the stay of prosecution, and they got that in 2012, it was like there was this new hope in the world for us as a cannabis community. There was this new inspiration, this new fear. And that was Jules and Myrtle, and they called themselves the Dagga Couple. And that, man, so in my spirit, these people would stand up and were standing up for us and our rights as cannabis users, Rasta, non-Rasta, everyone. And they called themselves the Dagga Couple. And I followed them and I supported them. And I knew in my heart and in my spirit that this is where the change was going to come. We were going to see legal fucking cannabis in our lifetime. And these were the people that was going to lead us. And they knew it in their spirit. I could see it. Every fucking day I could see it. And in Jules and Myrtle was coming back from Africa, Burn. And they said they're going to Hogsback. And Hogsback is very close to where I live. And I said, wait, I need to meet you guys. And I hit them up on a message, and Jules was so eager and so excited and so full of vigor. I was like, yo, I'm going to meet the Dagga Couple. Oh, my God. And I went to Hogsback. I was in the mountain there with my late brother, Niels, who's now probably sitting with Jules and smoking the fattest spliff on the highest mountains in Zion. And that day, it was like the culmination of energy, the culmination of inspiration, because Jules said, I'm coming to fetch you now. And he pulled up there in the Isuzu Bakkie, Myrtle's old Isuzu Bakkie. And I was like, yo, oh my God, I'm sitting in the back with Jules Stobbs, bro. Are you just? I was like, fuck, yes. And he was like, jump in, matey. We got Dagga to smoke and things to talk, bro. I was like, fuck, yes. And we drove up and they stayed on this cottage. And Myrtle had like this aura around her. I'll never forget, like her opening up the door and seeing this energy of Myrtle, Clarke, and sitting down in this room with Myrtle and Jules and smoking and reasoning and talking about cannabis legalization and why it was a lie and why it was bullshit and why cannabis prohibition was keeping this plant from flourishing. And Jules and Myrtle opened up their hearts. I was like, oh my God, these people are going to guide us on this journey. And for years I followed them, for years and years I followed them, and I was at almost every second or third D-Day. I was at the first D-Day. Jules said, look here, Warren, we're going to have a festival D-Day. You better come up. I'm like, okay. And Myrtle's like, okay, you coming up, you flying up on this day. You there. I'm like, okay, I'm there. And D-Day in Maboneng, it was like the most beautiful thing ever. We had broken so many barriers. People's minds were blown. Jules and Myrtle were like on this cloud of fucking, like, we knew that this was right. And in the core of his existence, Jules knew what he was doing was right. He was destined to do this. It was written in fucking stars. It was written in the seeds. It was written in his genetics that Jules would save us, my brothers and sisters. You know, and I feel so inspired by that, man. And in 2018, I'll never forget, guys. I'll never forget.
I see Tony Budden says they're going to have a memorial there in Cape Town. So, guys, just check out Emporium on Tony Budden's feed. They're going to do something special. Bad, and we see you there in the chat as well. You lost a bro there.
In 2018, Jules was on probably the highest moment of his life. After 2017's trial of the plant, which was such a roller coaster. 2018's decision in the Constitutional Court was like this weight that had lifted off his shoulders. And in a moment of like complete healing in a forest in the Tsitsikamma in September, just a week after the judgment, Jules in his most relaxed state and most peaceful and happiest mind I've ever seen him. We'd been dancing on the dance floor, and he was like, "Hey, I can't keep up with you, Warren. I'm gonna go and smoke a pipe." And I was like, "Okay, my brother, let's go and smoke that pipe." And we sat down and we smoked this pipe, and I asked him, "Jules, can I ask you one question, please?" And he looked in my eyes and I said, "Why? Why did you do this? Why did you fight for our rights? Why?" And he told me, "Warren, firstly, number one, this is my body, and I can put whatever I want to into my body. And that's your body, and you can choose whatever you want to. No one can tell you. But number two, I want to give cannabis back to Africa. I want to free cannabis in this land of South Africa. For all the colonialist bullshit and laws, all the persecution, all the arrests, all the fucking cops, all the fucking guns to fucking cheeks, all of that bullshit must stop, Warren. Must stop. That's why." And that's why it's fields of green for all, guys. For all. Yeah. And that's my tribute to Jules. That he will be remembered as a soldier, as the one that stood for human rights, the right to use this plant, the right to choose what you use in your body, the right not to persecute and to be prejudiced. Jules is a giant of cannabis in South Africa. Jules is our Jack Herer. Jules is our David Attenborough of weed. We must never forget him.
Duncan Attenborough.
Duncan Attenborough.
I will never forget him. Yeah, I don't want to talk too much further. That's all I wanted to say. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
good to
guys.
see you, Yellow.
Thank you, Russ.
Stay strong.
Thank you, Russ.
Yeah, no more fire.
And you're allowed to be
More
sad.
fire.
And all of us, we're all allowed to be sad and we're allowed to be angry and we mustn't feel guilty about
And
that.
actually, I was Googling yesterday, day before yesterday.
How to make dabs.
I was actually looking for the source image for one of the pictures we were printing out for yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And I came across a 2017 article by The Citizen where they delve, it's called Get to Know the Dagga Couple. And it was an amazing, amazing article. Thank you, Citizen. I can't remember who wrote it. But if you guys want to, exactly what Warren was talking about, Jules' thoughts on exactly what Warren was just talking about now. They've delved into that with Jules, and read that article. Go Google it, read it. It was amazing. I'll see if I can find it. Maybe we'll post it, but like, don't expect real work out of us for a day or two still.
I'd also like to take a minute just to thank Jo for a thing she did with Times Live. She did an interview with them and she summed something up really beautiful. Jules had a good last day.
He had an amazing last day.
Oh, man.
You've been trying to get Steve D'Angelo on for so long. And it become a joke. Making jokes behind the scenes. How much is Steve going to be on today?
In America, but it was just the connecting for the show.
But
we were so excited.
I remember that.
It's such a good last day, Oaks. That's all I can say. And also, guys, a big shout out to Steve D'Angelo. Guys, go check last week's episode. For those who have the heart for it, if you don't, take some time. It's okay. But when you're ready, just suddenly watch the look on Jules' smile. You can see the moment he gets the message that Steve's happening as we're live on air. And you just see him look up to the crew here with the twinkle in his eye.
I think it's 29 minutes exactly. I think it's around there. And you'll see he picks up his phone, and you'll see it. He picks up his phone. As he picks up his phone, the message comes through, which was from the production crew saying what he had. He turned his phone, and he looked at me, and he went like this, and he's like, because it was what we've been waiting for so long to get this guy online. And it was, you could just see he was just fucking victorious.
And then on like Saturday or Sunday morning, I can't remember the days, I woke up and I checked Instagram. And then I had a friend request from Stephen Angelo.
Joe fucking name dropping, yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? Jules would have loved that.
Yeah.
You'll see that's in that first tribute video from Seven Leaf there. You'll see that's his video where he's. That was the video. That was the episode.
Oh, Oaks. Dan putting on a good face, yeah. Oaks, is there anyone else who'd like to take a minute? Anyone outside who'd like to take a minute on the couch? I'm not forcing things.
Really?
I'm not policeman tonight.
Okay.
I don't want to push it, but if anyone wants to come tell a good story or a funny story, I've got so many.
Dude,
but
so
I don't want to
many.
be inappropriate. Because, you know, guys, my coping mechanism is humor, and it doesn't always translate well.
The son number 2, we all know and love Josh.
Also lost about 20 kgs of dreads.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, Josh is also part of the Cannabis Consultants crew. You've always also seen many a D-Day and many an Amber Cup and clipped many a bud and also come a long way as part of the fam. The tribe runs wide and deep and these guys are near and dear. Josh, how did you first meet this blue-eyed motherfucker?
Well, everyone knows Connor's my best friend. Like, we do everything together. And I was like Connor. And then Connor left to Amsterdam after high school, and I stayed here and I discovered cannabis in my own way. And I wanted to learn everything, and I went down the rabbit hole of YouTube and seeing strain hunters and stuff. And Connor came back. You know, and we hung out and we spoke, and like you said, no one ever got it, right? We were like, imagine we could do this. Imagine this could be our thing, you know? And Connor phones me one day and he's like, dude, I'm going there. I'm meeting these people. And like, I was like, what, huh? And he left, you know, and we spoke every day. Every day he was here and we spoke, and he told me about all this crazy shit, all you guys, and like, and he was like, you need to be here. You need to like come here, you need to see these people. And I think it was like a year later, I was on a plane with Con. I just said yes, and I got here, and Jules was right by the front, and Con was like, yo, meet my friend Josh, and Jules just like took my hand, gave me a hug, and I'll never forget, how's it, mate, how are you? And I was just like, he had such a presence and such an energy, and I'd never met someone who made me like proud of what I believed in, like truly proud. And he made me like, yeah, I can stand up for my beliefs, and I'm not afraid to tell people anymore. And he gave me the one thing I could never ever get from anyone else, and he gave me and my best friend a direction.
I'll tell you something, Jules also gave a lot of people their first dab.
Yes.
Yes.
My first dab was courtesy of Jules, and it was bad timing and an inappropriate first amount. But it was Jules. I'm sure a lot of guys can say that.
And Jules gave me a decent lady-sized dab, and I will always be grateful because I didn't want to be put off with my first one.
And if we use the theory of trickle-down dabonomics at D-Days, in theory, Jules has given thousands of people their first dab. Because Oaks lined up there, guys. If you hadn't been to a D-Day, you missed out. I hope we have J-Days, guys. But if you didn't, you fucking missed out, because we had this thing called a dab bar, not C-word friendly, no matter how much sanitizer we put at this thing. And we would have 3 rigs locked and loaded with e-nails, dialed up. You'd pull up. People would say, what's this thing? You'd say, it's the highest you're ever going to get, motherfucker. Put your 20 rand in. They'd put their 20 rand in. They'd smash it. They'd be back 3 later. It was amazing, guys. I don't know, hey. In a way, this Oak touched so many lives.
You really did.
Yeah, Oaks would put a 5 rand, and also it was so lack. It was like this weird Ubuntu, because Oaks would rock up and you'd say, okay, put a donation in, it's for legalization. They'd say, but I have no money. And then the Oak behind them would always pay.
Exactly. Be like, yeah, just have one, take one quickly, go.
Try, you gotta try.
Yeah.
That's so true.
I'm glad to have known this, dude. I know, like, in a lot of you oaks, because I'm not gonna lie, I've gone a long road with this oak. I had my thick and my thins, but 99% happy days with this dude. I'm glad to have known this dude. I think he left the mark on a lot of people. I think he'll live on through a lot of us. You
A
know?
road trip will never be the same again, hey?
Yeah, a lot of someone, Shoal put it so beautifully this morning. He said, "The stars have changed for a lot of us."
Everything has changed. Everything has changed.
But anyway, guys, go sign the fucking petition. Like, share, subscribe. #HotBoxShow. I'm just glad, because, you know, if it wasn't for that oak, I wouldn't know a single one of you.
Yeah, I know.
All you all motherfuckers that don't even your creepers who never comment.
That's the thing. None of us would ever have known each other because we all still would have been hiding in a little cave somewhere, or maybe there would have been one of us that had the balls, but not as big as his. And that's simple, plain fact, because it was. We did have other people fighting the fight. We did, and they are. Yes. They still are. And not to say, but the way he did
and
it,
we're not gonna
the
stop.
gentleman-like way he did it, and the way that he came in there with no fucks given, and was like, "This is how it should be."
Battled hard.
That was
They fought hard, man.
yeah. Scholar and a gentleman he was. That's it.
Oh, yeah, guys. Min words, eh? And I'm just glad, you know, to be sitting here with you.
Dude, he was the best friend a girl could ever ask for, really, and for so many people that. But Myrtle and Jules are like some of the best friends I've ever had, and I mean, I don't know how often we tell each other this, but I have the deep, genuine fucking love for this family in this room, all of you, just so you know.
The tribe runs deep.
Remember to tell the people that you love them.
Are you up for a minute, dude? No, you don't have to.
I did.
You
I
wanna
told
come
them I
on?
loved them before
You
I
wanna?
went and said goodnight.
Are we gonna put another fresh face? Do you wanna come on, dude?
Yeah,
dude,
got
come,
people
Sam.
coming. Please come, guys. We got it.
So guys, Sam is 70. These guys are like the first official cannabis magazine in South Africa. They got a couple of issues out in that. But Sam also had the honor of being the only stoner in our circle to witness me fucking this thing up. And it was a tragedy. This man saw me cry like a baby.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
It was like he was literally running past me because we're betting together.
You should have seen us run. It was like slow-mo.
Oh man.
But Sam's also walked the road with us for a while. A lot of cannabis conventions. He's been around the farm as well and that. Dude, how did you first meet Jules, man?
I remember the first time. Actually, I sent him an SMS. I said, "Hi, my name is Sam. Working on starting a cannabis magazine. I'll need your help in terms of content and also in terms of direction of the message that we could carry as a community."
Yeah.
Then he didn't respond. It was about 5 in the evening. So the next morning, around about 9, I phoned him. I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember. When would you like to come through?" I was like, "Come through?" Farm? I think it was the next day or so. Okay. And I was like, "Oh, come through." I remember, and Joe was there that day. There. Yeah.
Because Jules, I remember him telling me about you, about the getting your mail and stuff. And I said to him, "Well, my youngest son's name's Sam, so he can't be bad. He must be a good guy." So yeah. Poor Aaron, I was here that day. It was an interesting day.
It was, eh?
He showed you the power of a few things.
Yeah,
including the CBD to get someone back on their feet.
But also, I don't think Sam was ready for the ferocity and the straightforwardness of this couple as well.
True,
because interacting with them could also be an eye-opener.
Yeah.
That's very true, you know, because on so many subjects, I was going through my Audible last night, and I saw that I actually have 2 books that Jules mentioned on the first day we met, you know.
No way.
And all the Botany of Desire and Steve D'Angelo Cannabis Manifesto, you know. So I was like, oh, cool. So now it's just, you know, from that first meeting, that's how much impact he had, you know. And on all fronts, eh? But the most important thing about Jules was when he meet you the first time, he'll say, "Welcome to the family." Exactly. This is it, Sam. This is it. Welcome to the family.
Yes, this is what. This is what.
Feel that abruptness. Yeah. That's.
This is what so many oaks say to me about this oak. Not just Jules, also guys. Let's keep Myrtle in mind here as well. Thoughts and prayers. How we're feeling it from your oaks is that they would come to the Jazzfarm. It would always be a warm smile, a hot cup of tea, and a fat dab. Hey? You're always welcome. And they would be going through the fattest of times and be so busy and they'd have a little bitch about it behind the scenes. Let someone sitting there smoking a joint on their time and whatever. But everyone was always welcome.
Yeah.
No one got turned away.
It's true, yeah, that's very true.
Unless you were extra fucking crazy.
But they did accommodate the crazy.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I remember you wrote some articles for you guys as well.
Yeah, on the first issue.
Yes.
We actually have a welcome message from him. He says a lot of people came to us needing funding for the magazine. It never made it happen. But look, the 7 Leaf has made it happen. Congratulations, 7 Leaf, and too many more issues. You know,
Exactly.
he believed in us, you know, and said, "Oh, look, it's possible. Do it. We need a magazine. We've always tried to do a magazine. Maybe you're the one to do it, you know." I was like, "Oh,
With the
okay."
centerfold.
Oh yeah, it was the centerfold. Yeah,
With the centerfold.
I'll say this about Sam, because one of our real gripes behind the scenes with Fields of Green is people come and they say, "Do you know what you should do?" And it's always kind regards, Karen. You know? And we can't full of people saying, you know what you should do. And this is someone who actually came with his own plan and fucking did it, which I promise you is a rare thing.
He came, he said, "Look what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Am I on track?" And that's,
But I think that final nail for me, that cornerstone, was the Dagga Couple, you know. And I've personally made it a mandate, you know, wherever I am and people ask me the story, tell them if it wasn't for that meeting that day, you know, and they said it's possible, it can happen, it wouldn't have happened most likely. Highly likely. 89%, even 100% unlikely.
he had a way of motivating people.
That's true.
We can play it again. Should we watch it again?
Yeah,
Yeah, let's do it.
You get it lined up.
Cool.
do it.
Yeah.
So we played this tribute a little earlier. We're going to play it now as well again. This is courtesy of 7 Leaf. You guys can shout whenever.
Cool. This one.
I'm just dabbing.
Not that.
And to Jules, the leader and pioneer of the cannabis fraternity in South Africa. We are saddened by your untimely passing. Jules, a man who was in living the epitome of passionately pursuing the freedom of the cannabis plant. His works and teachings will formulate the framework of what it means to fight for the people and live selflessly among the common man, even as the cannabis legend that he was. The 7 Leaf sends its condolences to Myrtle, family, and the cannabis community. Jules, we lost you untimely, but your footprint in our lives will always be timeless.
That's such a beautiful tribute.
Yeah, guys. Heavy days, eh? Oh, the D-Days were amazing though, hey? We've also got Dino who'd like to tell us about how he met Jules for the first time.
Yeah, definitely.
So, guys, we played also a tribute from Dino earlier. He played a bit of a sick
Thanks,
tribute with the time-lapse of something else that Jules loved very much in his life, which was San Pedro's and a goddamn time-lapse.
Yeah,
This dude must have so many terabytes of time-lapses.
just even more than just time lapses, camera footage, like photos. He always was taking a photo of where he was. He was really on the ball with the
And not
cameras.
cut boring wedding photography. We're talking Africa burns, artsy stuff, travelly stuff, out in the middle of nowhere stuff. You know, these people are eclectic and they've walked a long, interesting road, because I don't want to get into the man's history. You know, there's stories and there's tributes and all that. But something I can say with my hand on my heart is this dude lived a full life.
He lived
I think he lived a
full-
couple
No,
of full
way more than
lives.
one, way more than one.
Hey, a couple of full
He
lives.
was running
man.
multiple lives at a time, literally, like in front of you.
Yeah, it was like parallel universes. He had so
So
much
that's
energy,
why
getting
we
so
could
much
feel
done,
that. We
dude.
could feel that movement of him. He was so much.
Zipping around the farm like he's one of the bees.
Yeah, dude.
Damn.
Yeah,
I still keep expecting him to just walk in the door and look at us going, what the fuck are you all crying for? Jesus Christ.
holding the puppy. Mary Jane, who's been a weird thing. Oh, yeah. But so that for those of you who don't know, Dino also goes back with the fam. Dino lays down sick beats and sick rhymes and all that. He did that tribute earlier for us. Dino, how did you first meet Jules, dude?
Actually, I think it was at 420. I can't remember which year it was. It was the D-Day that I first performed with Indigo Girl.
Okay.
All right. I remember that.
Yes, and I popped in and Amy had met Jules and Myrtle before, so I was introduced as Amy's boyfriend. And he was like, "Oh, you're Amy's boyfriend? Okay, cool." And I think he was like he had fun teasing my moustache. You know? He was
moustache,
I had a
bro.
crazy moustache at the time, and he was like, "Dude, what's up with the Salvador Dali
You look like
thing?"
a musketeer.
And so like a few weeks later, or I think it might have been a month later, I landed up hosting. I was asked to host the Cape Town Cannabis March.
Yes.
And he was like, "What the fuck are you doing here, bro?" And I had to introduce them. So I did a little bit of research to make sure that I could do it articulately. And I discovered for the first time that they were actually dubbed the Dagga Couple by the media.
Yes.
And I found that so awesome that he was just like, "You know what, fuck you, yeah, we're the Dagga Couple.
It
We're
was
the
from
Dagga
the
Couple,
one
deal
that
with it,
says
son."
a couple fights for Dagga.
I think it was a Citizen one.
Yeah.
There is one.
The Dagga Couple.
So I'll tell you,
many times.
I'll tell you the origin story shortly, all you little lighties who are up for a little 4:20 bedtime. But I remember also seeing this oak at the Smoky Joe days, Cannabis March for all you oaks on the DL.
Jesus.
But this oak also checked him up on the bus, emceeing, oaks were dropping beats and that. And then one day he was here on the farm, like, "I know this dude from somewhere." But you say you met them there, hey?
That's right. Yeah, well, actually at D-Day, but then they saw me there and they were like, "Hey, what's up?" They were surprised to see me there. And then a few weeks later, I was on the farm. And they were like, "Okay, cool, bro."
Is this dude a narc?
yeah, right? Yeah.
Can't be a knock, he's Amy's boyfriend.
Yeah, so... Yeah, man, it's you know what, at least I got to have one last scoop with them.
Yes.
Yeah, man, you know, for that online trance party, we scoped it hard, and I will cherish that forever.
Jules enjoyed a good party.
You love fat beats, eh? Yo.
Man.
Yeah.
It was always good.
And it was kind of like a trip down memory lane for him. He was telling us so many stories and showing us pictures of the farm from like 30 years ago. It was really incredible, and
Yeah, you were saying.
You know, man, I'll never forget that. That's just I feel so blessed to have experienced that. Yeah, man. Honestly, like you said earlier, there aren't really many words. To say in a situation like this. It's just, you know.
Yeah, there's been words, Oaks. We know there's no words, you know. Fuck, eh? What can I say? But once again, this is a bro we would not know if it wasn't for this dude.
If it wasn't for Myrtle and Jules, yeah.
Absolutely.
And also, it was one of those things, you know, it's been like a magnet, this cause. And also his persona, because Myrtle also said it, this dude is larger than life.
Yeah.
You know, so much larger than life, eh?
Big time.
Yeah, not just some dumb stoner.
No.
You know, he's
Jeez.
like,
So far from it. Oh my goodness. Whoa. Your mistake.
Yeah. Don't make that mistake,
Yeah,
motherfuckers.
Step in the bear trap if you do that, you know.
Yeah.
Then you'll... I've seen it a couple of times where someone mistakes that.
Yes,
Just
absolutely.
quickly.
So, yeah.
Just quickly.
Yeah.
Cheko Schultz hits a nail on the head there. Jules had very good taste in music.
Yeah, yes.
I
Check
was
out his
just
Spotify.
thinking about
Yes.
that.
I was
I
just
was
saying, check
just
out his
thinking about
Spotify.
putting music on. Go to the Jazzfarmer, Spotify Jazzfarmer. That's one way to experience the way that she
Charles
loves
and
his
the
music.
Jazzfarm are the only two people I
There we
follow
go.
on Spotify.
Yeah,
Because
it
you know
was-
what? In a weird way, music tells the ultimate history of this dude. Because he's been through so many eras, and the reason it's called the Jazzfarm is he was a jazz guitarist, and that's how he paid his bills. Once upon a time in Tokyo, apparently.
Basking.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Oh, the stories, man. That's
He bought his farm with the money he made basking.
Yeah.
Overseas, he came here.
with yen.
I think-
Yes,
yeah.
it was. Yes, I remember that.
Gang
He came
yen
here
with the suitcase full of
the
yen.
suitcase full of yen, and he bought the property.
It's crazy.
Yeah, dudes. But I can tell you this much: it was seldom that there was not tunes on this farm. To the point where the neighbors would once in a while be like, "Okay, Jazzfarm, that's enough now. I'm on a phone 702 if you don't cut it out."
Don't
Oh,
vote 702, don't make people jealous.
Yeah, you don't have to ask him what's playing, you'll know. And it would very seldom be music with lyrics.
I'll say
Yeah,
that
no,
much
he
about
did
the
not
man.
like music with lyrics.
Not so much.
So let me tell you how I met Jules.
Yes,
And
please.
let's get to the prequel, the origins of the Dagga Couple.
Mm.
So there's little William Wallace sitting in his white collar 4x4 prison cell at the grass. Low-key writing for Below the Lion on the side. For those who know, you know.
You know, you know. Still got the
And
grind
there I am sitting, and I'm like, oh, I'm done with all the spreadsheets and that. And this little article pops up. Or no, the news. I'm sitting at the McDonald's after a long day, and there's this newspaper that came out that day, The Citizen, and it says something Dagga Couple. And I'm like, here I am writing about weed. Fucking goddamn, there's finally a local weed story to write about, because it's usually just busts.
Yeah.
So this was early days of like Facebook and shit. Like, this was when you could still poke on Facebook. Long time ago. And so somehow I managed to get a hold of them, either on Facebook or whatever. I put on my Inspector Buzz cap because I'm good like that. I did my sleuthing. I got a hold of them. I found a number on email. I said, hey dudes, I'm this random, really weird dude. Can I come interviews for your story for this e-magazine about weed? And they said, okay. And I rocked up with my Julie as well, because me and my Julie are tight, and we rock up, and there's a little doggy here and a little doggy there, and this hipster couple pulls out, and there's a warm cup of tea and a smile, and some dang fucking Zol. Things changed for me that day as well on that front, eh? Things changed for a lot of people there.
Yeah.
And we spent a beautiful winter afternoon in the sun, somehow getting high, doing this interview, and things were just forged there forever. We got gorilla glued together that day. And, you know, I'm fortunate.
Better for it. Better for knowing it.
But that's how they were called, the Dagga Couple. It was the Citizen who had said something Dagga Couple, and it stuck. And it stuck. And then there was a Facebook page, and then there was a website, and then there was a petition, and then there were volunteers, and then there were books, and then there was a convention, and then there was a fucking D-Day. And you
then
know,
there was an office.
And then there was an
And then the office came.
But you know, all I can say is, wow. If I could turn, if I were to know that I was going to lose this oak, like we had, I would do it all over again.
100%.
The only thing I'd change is I'd spend more time here.
Oh, oaks. It would all be different then. Things change, you know, oaks. You know, you oaks watch enough Rick and Morty to know at home. Things change. Play with those dynamics. We got another China here who's going to want to tap in. So for all of you back home, I know you guys see Dagga Couple Facebook, the channel, Us Oaks and that. But the reality of the scene is that there are a lot of people behind the scenes who do a lot of heavy lifting, you seldom or never really get to see, who make huge differences. And this oak is one of those oaks. He hasn't been on the scene too long. We've known him for like 2 years. I remember him some lights. I thought he was some puppy
He
running
filled in
around.
for a bit during lockdown because he was staying here. So
Yeah,
he
but
filled
even
in the
before
studio a little
that,
bit.
he's been around. He's
Yeah,
been around for
no,
like 2 years.
absolutely.
Oaks,
I think
this
the
is
first time I saw
Dale.
him was at a
Dale.
D-Day.
Yeah.
First time I saw Dale was at a
At
D-Day.
a D-Day, eh?
That's
I was
it.
actually very young when I went to the first D-Day.
No bullshit,
I
man.
snuck in there and I probably shouldn't.
Bullshit.
There's photos of you on that.
Yeah, and I mean from the very beginning I smoked weed. I had the strong feeling that cannabis was gonna change how I see life, and it did.
Yeah.
And I strongly felt my mom didn't understand, my family didn't understand it, and when my dad got sick, he got cancer, and suffered for many years, to a point where I reached out to Jules and Myrtle after doing all this research and being like, I'm gonna go to the people that I know will know the most.
Yeah.
And I was angry. I was not just that lost boy. I was angry. I was very angry and confused. And Jules had this, even though he was grumpy in many ways,
Jules
it
was
probably
pricky.
angered him in a way that calmed me down. I was like, fuck yes, someone else is
He
angry
only
too.
got grumpy about things that he cared about. I figured that out about him. People
you
will
know,
call him a grumpy fuck sometimes, but he only got grumpy about the things he really cared about.
Which was a lot.
Which was a lot.
And so they started teaching me about how I can treat my dad, and it was a little too late, and the chemo got him eventually. And I had made peace with it because I knew it was alright. And then I just randomly, like you guys said, Jules didn't want to really have a son or anything, but I just started spending lots of time in the garden with him. And, you know, the plants helped me understand life. I've never been so close to plants before. And it was more than that, because Jules always said, don't be so one-dimensional. Your whole life can't just be about fucking cannabis.
Yeah. Yes.
We'd sit talk about fucking motorbikes,
Yes.
motorbikes and fucking, you know, music and all sorts of cuck. But he'd get upset if you called it cuck. You know, very straight to the point. And yeah, I'm gonna appreciate not just a father figure, but a role model. My Bob Marley, my Nelson Mandela, my man. Yeah. Our man, yeah.
Our friend.
Yeah, our Jules.
Friend, yeah. A friend of everyone, you know, he used to go work at those fucking expos, Buzz. and like he'd do his speech, and he'd speak to the crowd, but no questions after his speech. You can come to the stall individually. Everybody can come individually and speak to the guy.
There.
And he will talk to you.
Because I can promise you this
5
thing.
minutes or yeah, an hour he'd talk to you.
He would talk to you, and he would tell you what you needed to hear, not what you wanted to hear,
Mm.
what you needed to hear.
Yeah.
Because also I remember at the expos over the last year or so there, every time after their speech, the store would get gang busy.
Because they speak from their heart. They really do. They don't even have to study what they're saying. They're just saying the truth. They speak the truth.
Yo, I see someone's brought up, yo, weed stock gate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I saw that swing.
I see this dude shoots. Imagine if weed stock actually happened. For those of you all who do not know, about 3 or 4 years ago, D-Day was not enough to drive Jules nuts.
No.
We needed weed stock too. He wanted a 3-day D-Day.
And this was like in the midst of all. I mean, it was chaos. It was chaos.
Wasn't it the year that there was all the xenophobia and stuff going on?
There was just chaos.
just all
chaos.
And he was like, "No, we need to do another one.
We need a
We
bigger
have to do
party.
another one."
Bigger
And,
party.
and there was a full attack on cannabis at that point.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was
Yes,
like
yes.
no,
It
it
was.
an absolute fucking no.
And then
I went early just because. Remember, we were
Yeah.
there underneath that stretcher.
In the rain.
Like 2016.
so then carry on. You were saying yes.
So anyway, so Jules says, no, we need to do something. We're going to do weed stock. Because also this oak loved the jam. And do you know what was always wonderful about D-Day? Usually you go to Corpy and it's one-dimensional. And usually you go to Kaiser Chiefs and rightly so it's one-dimensional. And all that kind of shit. But D-Day was one of those draws where it was truly eclectic. Culturally eclectic, dude. It was rainbow
Music
nation,
was also,
germs on the Dabriggs Oaks. No one discriminated or gave a fuck as long as they got
No,
grilled.
there was a wife, man.
There was one
There was
wife.
a wife.
Back in the day when there was still sanitizer wipes in the shops, man. No, man. So anyway, weed stock had to be this thing. And guys, we got close. The place was locked down.
The stage was built.
Everything was locked down. There was first
they
a
rocked up there.
there was first a place. And then we had to pull out last minute to another place because the cops in either area were not down with 3 days of Dagga Couple, which way we spun it.
Yeah.
So there, the venue's now moved in the last week. a good friend of mine and Jules and me, none of these other motherfuckers have been scraping 20-year-old apartheid horse shit outside some kraals and shit to make this venue lacquer, but the venue was beautiful.
But then looked good. I was there afterwards. It looked amazing. You guys did a great job. It was fucking clean.
Yeah, my lungs testify that, dude. And the day comes. We're all pulling in. The food oaks have been pulling in the night before. It's all laying out. The grass is nice. You can walk fucking barefoot. 2 stages. It's lighting up lacquer. It's a bit wet. The oaks are getting a bit stuck in the mud. But it's on. And then we get word, sorry oaks, the cops have said no dice.
But then they also came, weren't they at the gate there?
Yeah, they were there.
They
dude.
blocked all entrances and they even tried to arrest the owner of the property for trying to go home.
Wow.
Yeah. So weed stock did not happen. And we had
But
a little...
we were there.
We had a wake under the stretch in this cold weather, smoking and reminiscing. This tattoo oak, Lestat Werner, he's also a cool dude. Go check them out. All the oaks, we sat there and we were mourning. And we got in our cars and we quietly fucked off in the rain back home. But there was a fat party nonetheless.
Yeah, I was
at
gonna
the
say, what did we
Jazzfarm.
do?
The farm.
Yeah.
He said, you know what? Let's just go back to the Jazzfarm and have a party.
Yeah.
And so we did.
Basically,
And
we all came back
mourned.
and had a party.
Yeah, we mourned weed stock good and hard.
Good and solid.
But then the story went on. Dum dum dum, there was a conspiracy.
Oh, we got a troll. We
And
grew a troll.
A dude claimed that weed stock was never going to happen. And even though he had not bought a ticket, he had the right to bitch thoroughly about it. And because none of us had thought to take pictures of the empty venue that we were so disappointed about having to leave after setting up in the fucking rain, that it was never going to happen. And to this day, that conspiracy continues.
Sure.
And to this day, that troll
okay.
can go and fuck himself sideways with the rest of the chainsaw. You
Thanks
know
for
who
reporting
you
my
are.
Facebook profile account. Thanks.
Keeps making new ones and I keep
Sure.
blocking them. Ugh,
Yeah, Oaks.
get
And
a
you know,
life.
that's all the production that goes behind that. There's a lot of work that goes
was
behind all of this. And
a
Jules loved to be
lot.
part of both sides. He wouldn't just be in the front and just do the image of it with Myrtle. And they would never do that. They were always so locked into the whole thing.
Yeah.
Front, back, side, left,
There
up,
wasn't
down,
a
right,
little
whichever way you want to
bit
go,
that
they
they
would be
weren't
there
in
willing
touch
to
with.
put themselves into. And it was awesome. And so yeah, like there's also the background. And I wanted to know from our production crew. Do you guys want to share maybe how you met them?
Yeah,
Just
man.
there, you don't have to come onto the couch. You can stay there because that's how you guys have been operating. You know,
Thanks,
It
dude.
was actually at the first normal meeting.
Normal.
Normal
Yo,
meeting. Wow.
Retro.
Meeting.
Normal.
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I felt the same. It was. I knew I was doing nothing wrong, and you just said, "Yeah, you fucking damn straight, doing nothing wrong."
Yeah.
I was smoking weed, so yeah, that was really it.
Cool.
Yeah,
What could ever be wrong with smoking weed?
yeah.
Nothing.
I'm
And
gonna-
our second in charge this.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out because this guy, I'm not gonna say who
Yeah.
he is, but this guy goes way before Dagga Couple. This
Yeah,
dude
this is OG.
is like ACDC, BCDC or some shit.
And he's been our rock
did you
as
see
well.
these?
This is steam. Fuck 80. This is steam powered.
Oh, yes. Bro, Jules.
Touched the hearts of many. And we're all here today because of the eloquent, the kind, the honourable words that he passed on to all of us. And you'll only meet Jules once. He's there with you forever. Hey? Once you've met him, there's everything that he opens up into our reality. You know that you've met a genuine, for me, father, but friend. He loved hiking, and the first time I met him was with a really amazing friend of mine, Camel. I'd met Jules, but as the Adams family, the Rustlers Valley.
Oh yes.
Many, many years back. And we had a common friend in Earl and Larry.
Okay.
And I knew him as the Addams Family. That amazing video of Ricky on
the tribute. It was
Rustlers
the tribute to Fritz. Yeah.
Tribute to
Frick.
Fritz.
It's on YouTube. Go check it out.
At Rustlers Valley.
2003.
Well, it was probably a bit earlier than that actually.
It looked like 70s hairstyles, but it made me feel a bit old.
It was probably in the I would say sort of like mid-90s.
Leon Schuster era.
Leon Schuster era, bro. And I'd never forget, it came down with rain and we were wondering why all the horses were facing in the one direction, and you'll see the horses in the video. And we were tripping our beans off, trying to understand why these horses were facing in the one direction, but we were in the rain.
Yeah.
And Ella's dad enjoyed camping, and she, that's Ella, my wife. She enjoyed being out in the open, and Rustlers Valley was a haven for all people that wanted to get to meet all people. And we met Jules there for the first time, but we knew him as the Addams Family. And when we returned back to South Africa in 2007 after a 9-year stint in the UK, Camel introduced me to the family, and we'd go hiking up in the Machalis Mountains, and that man showed us every single walk that we did on those mountains. His most favourite place in the place he lived, he enjoyed walking far genoeg.
Yeah.
We're going to go and do you.
Is that the one where my shoes fell off my feet?
That was the one, yeah.
Right.
If you want to sweat,
yes.
if you want to sweat and see beauty, ver genoeg.
Or just go hiking in the mountains. Is like you're saying, Jules loved being out in nature as well, enjoying what Earth is and
the amount of inspiration he drew from going up the mountains, especially leading up to the trial when many things were happening.
Yeah.
We'd been working a number of years, but prior to that, to actually work out whether we could live stream the trial so that everyone gets to see it. But everyone gets to see it.
Yes.
As he mentions in the video earlier on, those first 3.5 sort of days were probably one of the most trying parts of the trial, because the doctors for life didn't want it to be streamed.
I know.
You know?
That became a whole separate court case, which we won. We won the right to stream our own
Ricky,
trial.
I am extremely indebted to you, brother. Ricky, he's been on the show a couple of times. He's going to tell his story. He's just put in a one-liner in the chat earlier on. That man has a huge amount of information on how we, as the Fields of Green, were able to ensure that Jules's vision that we talked about and grew and nurtured right through all our trips up those Vergenoeg mountains. He drew inspiration from being up at the top there.
He did.
One of the things that you will be drawn to when you're up there, when you're all going to go up there as a team, whoever, we are going to go and hike Vergenoeg, because once you get to the top, you're made to feel like you're flying, you're lying on your back, and them vultures are probably about 20, maybe 15, 20 meters above you. And as they flew over, it was one of the most liberating places that Jules really enjoyed doing.
Okay, done. Done.
I see someone ask if Jules loves Light Kruger. He really was really good at enjoying wherever he was.
Yeah.
In a weird kind of way.
You had to drag him to the beach a little bit.
Yeah. But he would not.
But he'd
go into a mall. I promise you that. And not somewhere into a bank either.
No.
Someone says they...
More likely to find him in the hardware shop.
Yo, I love the hardware. Cash
It's a
build.
farm, guys. Of course he's always at the hardware shop.
There was some lovely Polish woman at Cashbuild who always spoke highly of that. Someone says there, what do you think about like Dagga safaris for people? You know, it's like an Airbnb vibe and like a high five instead of a big five. And Jules would tell you two things. I can tell you this. He'd say he loves the fucking idea. He always wanted to do it himself. He always said, if I want to do Dagga safaris, as long as I can be the driver, and he would drive you anywhere you wanted to fucking go. As long as he could be the driver.
Way off the path even.
But he would also say a second thing. He'd tell you to go fucking do it.
Do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
What's stopping you? Just do it. That's how we got the industry going. We just did it. Right?
Yeah.
That's how they started the trial. They just did it.
And we will continue to do it even better.
Yeah, dude.
We're not backing down. We're not backing down. We're going to finish this job and we're going to finish it properly. And that's just not even debatable.
We have plenty of affiliates and supporters to help us.
Yeah. On that note, let me be homework mode. Please go support those who support Fields of Green for All. There are a lot of brands and that who put their money where their mouth is, and they see what we're trying to do is just make a change. Don't have all the answers. Go check them out on Fields of Green. There's gang links there. As Joe put it so eloquently earlier, just go sign the fucking petition.
Sign the fucking petition.
Please and thank you. That would be great.
And
Share
keep
the
an
shit,
ear out
dude.
for the fundraiser. Keep an eye out for the fundraiser. Let's protect Jules' dream. Let's just protect Jules' dream and let's protect Myrtle with our lives, really. She deserves it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
We wouldn't want Jules to come back and kick our asses in ghost form.
Cool. And before we sign out, I'd just like to say,
Wait. Quick, growing with my buds.
growing with my buds? No way!
You
Fuck
got
off
one?
there, Jules.
I got one quickly.
Dad, when you gonna do a growing with my buds?
Quickly, everyone, quickly. Growing with my buds.
Okay.
Grow a plant for Jules.
Yeah.
Just to grow a plant in memory of Jules.
Yeah.
He'll love it. He honestly will love it. Just the next seed, the next clone, just do it for him. He'll love it. He honestly
What were his
loved
favourite kinds? African land races. He was really, really passionate about preserving African genetics.
And
But grow them.
Tell you what, grow any fucking plant.
That's it.
Grow a tree, grow millie, grow something that
Grow
ideally is
succulents.
indigenous, because this man, although cannabis was there, as someone said earlier, stop being so fucking one-dimensional.
Yeah.
This guy had another 420 dimensions
There we
when
go.
it came to plants and things and existence and reach.
Living life. He went. He lived life properly.
But it's a cut time to plant
There you go.
weed now.
Yes,
Spring.
yes.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Growing with my buds coming big time this season. We're gonna grow them big. Dan's knocking at my door to grow a double-story plant. I don't know, Oaks. Big shoes to fill. My
Yeah.
friends, thank you for helping me do this hard thing.
It's been very nice, brother. Please stay safe, and even though it's hard, when you can, choose happy, because that's what Jules would want.